Let's talk about the letter T. Did you know that the letter T can have around 5 different sounds in English? Today I'm going to talk about one specific sound that the letter T can have, which is ch. And the things I'm going to share are going to really help you improve your English pronunciation. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Welcome to my channel, io sono Miriam Romeo e se capisci l'inglese ma non riesci a parlarlo come vorresti, then I would love to be your English coach. Make your English smoother and more convincing with the 5 tips I share in my free pronunciation class. Click on the link in the description box below to watch it. The English letter T is one of those letters whose sound can change a lot. There are many cases where the letter T doesn't sound like a true T. It doesn't make a T sound. There are many English words, common words, where the T becomes a ch, as in chair, chat, ciao. Let's see some examples, and I suggest that you repeat after me and that you pay attention to what you're doing with your mouth. Nature, future, creature, adventure, century, statue, feature, picture, structure, departure, lecture. Did you notice how the T is actually pronounced ch? This is a good thing to know because very often when we have a letter in the spelling but we have to give it a different sound, our mind gets confused. We may not hear the difference at all, or we may not know how to make that sound. The spelling is always tricking us because English and Italian are two very different languages, but they use the same alphabet. So many times you see a letter that exists in your first language but has a different sound in that other language. But in this case, the sound that the T has is a super familiar sound to us Italian speakers. We have this ch sound in Italian. It's the sound that we have in ciao. So we can pronounce it perfectly already. We just have to know when the T becomes ch and ignore the spelling and just make that sound. And I'm going to tell you about a very, very common English word that people don't know how to get right. I always get asked how to properly pronounce this word. People ask me, do I have to pronounce the T? Do I have to skip the T? Is ST pronounced sh? So without the T, what I just told you applies to this word as well. The T in the word question is a ch. Look at the phonetic spelling and listen carefully. Question, question. So you have that voiceless s, ques, and then you say ch, question, question, question. Mystery solved. And of course, remember that that vowel in the second syllable is just a schwa. Question, chin, chin. So you don't open your lips to pronounce a vowel. You just go from ch to n. Question, chin, question. But there's more. Do you know when the letter T also becomes ch? When it's followed by an R. Tree, try, traffic, train, trick, trust. If you ask native speakers, they will tell you that it's not true. True. I know this for a fact. And even if you look at the phonetic spelling of these words, you will see no indication of this ch sound. But trust me, this is what happens. It's very complicated to transcribe this mechanism in phonetic symbols. And it's very technical, so I don't want to bore you with super technical phonetic terms, but basically that R after and the lip and tongue movements involved make the sound of the T change. And I completely understand why most native speakers would not confirm this. It's very normal not to be aware of things that you do, that you say, that you pronounce when you're speaking your first native language. Because we don't analyze what we do when we speak our native language. Everything is automatic. And many times other people can notice things that we have never noticed. And this is exactly what happens in the case of the T before an R. Let's pronounce these words again together. Tree, try, traffic, train, trick, trust, true. Right? This trick will also make it easier to pronounce that R, to make it sound more English and less Italian. It's like a combo. The T and the R combine and influence each other. I will prove my point by using the word train as an example. If what I'm telling you weren't true and the T before the R were still pronounced like a true T, as most native speakers claim, then I would pronounce this word terrain. Do this experiment with me. Terrain. Try to pronounce these two consonants, like the T as a true T and then the R. Terrain. But terrain is another word. It's this word. Terrain. Because in this word, the stress is on the second syllable. So the first vowel is just a small schwa. Terrain. So you separate the T from the R, right? Terrain. So this must be different. Terrain, terrain, train. Terrain, train. Terrain. Here we hear the T and the R as two separate consonants. Train. In this one, the T and the R blend and coalesce, and they create another sound, a tr sound, which you can easily make by pronouncing the T ch, as in chow. Train. I hope this was helpful. I really think it is. And let me know in the comments what you think and if you were already aware of this. Now don't forget to click on the link in the description box below to watch your free pronunciation class. And if you want to work with me and you would like to have me as your personal English coach, you can contact me at this email address right here. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.